fans, Prime Animations here, coming to you with a new character video. We talked about it a couple of live streams ago that each month I would be doing a character video for each of our characters based on some of the tech specs that we did. You know, I think it was the year before last. So we're gonna go ahead and dig into it. Our first character for this month is going to be Ultra Magnus. So let's go ahead and read his bio. It says, as courageous as his predecessor, Ultra Magnus shows qualities of a great prime. He's fearless, he's loyal, he's selfless, and strong. Having been taught the definition of family, Ultra Magnus has taken it upon himself to lead his new family in rebuilding and protecting Cybertron. Make no mistake, Ultra Magnus will defend his homeworld from any threat with the last of his pulsating spark. A beautiful bio for a awesome character. I'm a big fan of Ultra Magnus. When he first showed up on the scene in season 3, automatically assumes role or command of Team Prime due to the absence of Optimus Prime having been injured. And he does a pretty gutsy move. He goes in and does a full-blown attack on Darkmound. Comes up with a really good strategy of distraction to pull some of the troops away. Manages to find a way to, collectively, right? The entire team, they find a way to jam signals. And they do all of these different things. They come up with a very elaborate plan to try and take out Megatron's fusion cannon. So essentially, it's I don't want to say it's a suicide mission, but they threw all their chips in for that particular mission. It was all or nothing. They went in full blown, guns locked and loaded, and they went in and attacked Megatron's new headquarters. So it was a very bold move. Luckily, it paid off, obviously, because that was the return of Optimus Prime 2.0. Had it not been for Prime, Magnus unfortunately would have fallen short. I've mentioned it before, Magnus is no Prime. So within our story, Magnus is going to have to fill those shoes. He's got no choice. Prime's not there anymore. So he has to fill in that role. He has to fill in Prime's shoes, and he has to do it within a relatively short amount of time because, let's face it, we already know that there's a threat coming, right? And so how he does during that time of pressure is really going to be Ultra Magnus's defining moment, right? One of the key questions that you guys may have, and I'll give this for you guys to think about, is what types of issues is he going to have? Is he going to struggle as a leader? Is he going to have the same types of struggles that Rodimus Prime had back in the 1986 season 3 of regular Transformers, right? For anybody that's watched that, right? Rodimus Prime struggled his entire time as a Prime because he kept comparing himself to the original. He kept comparing himself to Optimus Prime. Is Ultra Magnus going to face those same types of dilemmas? Will he question himself? Will he question his leadership? In the face of a massive adversary, right? Because if we look at the size comparison, right, Galvatron is the size of Predaking, and we already know how tall Ultra Magnus is. So there's a huge height difference, and there's also going to be a huge strength difference between the two characters. So it's going to be a huge challenge for Ultra Magnus. One of the things that I really enjoyed about Ultra Magnus's character, though, is when he first arrived, he was very cold. He was very strict. He was very stern. He was very straightforward, right? And Team Prime isn't really used to that, right? Even though Optimus Prime does have those same attributes, but he's a little bit more forgiving. He's a little bit more understanding, right? So the team struggled with Ultra Magnus's arrival at the very beginning. And one of the beautiful things about this character's growth within that season was that he learned to look at them not as soldiers, but as actual family members. And that was really important for his character. I think maybe his character might have turned off maybe some people at the very beginning. I liked him nonetheless, but that definitely, like, that moment when he made that switch or he made that realization, I'm sure that he won the respect of a lot of fans out there. We can see that within Wheeljack. Wheeljack looks like he struggled with him ever since he was with the Wreckers. That's what made him leave, was the stern, strict way that Ultra Magnus is, right? Wheeljack is a bit of a loose cannon. He's kind of, pushes back on authority and so on and so forth. So there was a complete conflict there. And then what happens is Ultra Magnus shows that, listen, he gets his hands dirty. He's not just a I'll give you orders type of leader. He gets in the mud. That's kind of what Wheeljack respected about Optimus Prime as well, was that Optimus Prime would get into the trenches with his soldiers. So when he fights alongside Ultra Magnus against Predaking destroys his hand, crushes it essentially. Wheeljack got a new level of respect for Ultra Magnus. He finally said, you know what, I've been wrong about this guy. This guy, it is an honor to fight along this guy. This guy, is in there with us. He's not just giving orders, but he's also fighting shoulder by shoulder. He's a brother in arms. So Ultra Magnus definitely won over Wheeljack with his fighting skills and his ability to, lead and fight and and all those different things. And I think that's what made Ultra Magnus such an awesome character. Well, what's interesting about Ultra Magnus was in Predacons Rising, we didn't get to see a whole lot of him. He got injured when he was fighting the two clone Predacons, got injured pretty badly, and then Bumblebee had to step up, which was really interesting for Bumblebee. And we'll get into what's interesting about him and his character video. But Ultra Magnus makes a full recovery. We see that because he's at the end when Optimus Prime is flying into the Well of Allsparks and he's talking to all of them. Ultra Magnus is there. He might be banged up, but he's there. Now, going into our story, Ultra Magnus, like I said, is going to be picking up the pieces where Optimus Prime left off. He is going to be the one who fills in the shoes, who leads the way. Now, a lot of folks have asked me about his hand. Why does he have his hand back? He had the claw. We actually tell the story, and I'll let you guys know right off the bat why what happens. Think about this. In season 1, Starscream gets his arm blown off. Knockout is tasked to give him a new one. And I think he has like 3 different options for him to choose from. So it almost makes it seem like, hey, you lost a limb, we can replace it, right? According to Ratchet, he's not able to do it because he's limited with the resources that he had during season 3 when Ultra Magnus's hand got crushed. That's understandable. Now they're on Cybertron. Now they've got the resources, right? Things are flowing. Energon is flowing. There's a couple of different things going on where they're rebuilding. So be it that Knockout not only was able to replace Starscream's arm, but he was able to also amputate Megatron's arm, replace it, and then when Megatron lost that arm, he puts the original back. So it looks like Knockout has a great deal of knowledge and experience doing this. So it would only make sense that he would be the one to fix Ultra Magnus's hand and give him back his, not the original hand, but a duplicate hand so that, Ultra Magnus is at full capacity, able to fight, able to do whatever it is that he needs to do. Guys, that's going to be the end of this video. We hope that you enjoy it and stay tuned for the next character.